Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Night Baseball, retro style. Tonight, we have the Toronto Blue Jays hosting the Baltimore Orioles here on Sunday night, June 26th, 1994. I'm Steve, and I'll be calling the game for you, as we have two division rivals, one inching their way toward the top of the division, the other wallowing currently at the bottom. The Orioles, a few games back of the first place Yankees, 4 games in fact, while the Blue Jays come in 9 games behind the Orioles and in last place 13 games behind the Yankees. For the wild card spot, the Orioles are currently tied with the Chicago White Sox, but there's a long way to go, more than half a season in fact, as we have quite the game on tap tonight. 2 pitchers you might know. Mike Mussina will be on the mound for Baltimore, while Todd Stottlemyre will be on the hill for the home team Jays. We have a pretty nice crowd here this evening at Sky Dome. The weather is nice, the roof is open, and in a couple of minutes, we'll get underway. For the Orioles, Mussina he comes into tonight's game with a very impressive record that I will eventually find. Yes, a record of 10-4 with an ERA hovering around 2.75. Stottlemyre, on the other hand, Stottlemyre that is, will be coming in tonight with a losing record of something. Where is it? Okay, so this is what the practice is for, right? This is what practicing's for. How do I get rid of this? This is not supposed to be in the way. We'll have the starting lineups out for you here in a minute. Yeah, Stottlemyre comes in with a record of 5-4 with an ERA of around 3.6. Tonight's game brought to you by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet. Coors Light, when flavor isn't an issue. We'll just go ahead and skip some of these commercials and get right down to business. Johnny Oates is in the dugout. The Orioles have smacked 86 home runs this season. That's 6th in the league, while scoring an average of exactly 5 runs per game. A little below average for the American League, ranking 9th. Here is the lineup for the Birds, the Orange Birds, that is. In center field and leading off, it's Brady Anderson. He'll be followed by Chris Sabo batting second and playing third base. Rafael Palmeiro at first. Kyle Ripken, the cleanup hitter, at short. The designated hitter is Harold Baines. Batting sixth is the catcher, Chris Hoyles. We have Smith in left field batting seventh. Mark McLemore at second base, batting eighth, and Jeffrey Hammonds, the kid, in right field, will be the number 9 hitter. And again, the 5-4 Stottlemyre will be making his 19th start of the season. He's pitched 86 and 2/3 innings, giving up 79 hits and 36 walks. So his whip is a little high. He does give up the base runners, but he tends to keep the Jays in the game. Here's the Jays defensively with Huff in left, Devon White in center, Joe Carter out in right, Ed Sprague at third, Cedeno at short. Oh, I'll just back it up a little bit. Why not? Roberto Alomar, who's on 3 straight Gold Gloves, is at second. John Olerud at first. Pat Borders behind the plate. And, of course, it was just a season ago that these same Blue Jays made quite the World Series splash by walking it off in Game 7 with a Joe Carter home run against the Philadelphia Phillies. There's Alomar getting his warm-up tosses in before the first pitch. Boy, Alomar would be an interesting ad for the Orioles one day, wouldn't you think? I could see him doing quite well for Baltimore in their lineup. You never know. Here's a look at our umpires tonight as Brady Anderson is ready to step into the batter's box, and this game is about to get underway. Anderson struggling here in 94, coming in with just a .231 average. First pitch is in there, called strike at the belt. And here we go. Brady, of course, bulked up a lot in the offseason. There's been a lot of players bulking up here in recent years. I don't know if anyone's noticed. Next pitch from Stottlemyre is another high fastball. Brady fouls this one away, and he's in the hole 0-2. Life before pitch clocks, where pitchers stepped off the mound, batters walked 10 feet away from the batter's box, and there were 30 seconds between every pitch. You gotta love it. Here comes the third pitch of the ball game, and it's a breaking ball over the plate but low. Brady takes, and the count 1-2. Working a little more quickly this time. Stottlemyre kicks and deals, and this one's upstairs. Easy take for Brady there, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. A lot of power in this Oriole lineup. Brady with those signature sideburns takes a look, and it's ball 3, well outside. So after getting ahead of Brady 0-2, the leadoff man has worked the count back full. Stottlemyre steps off the mound, rubs up a new baseball. Back on the slab, kicks and deals, and it's hit in the air to right field. Plenty of room out there for Carter. He makes the catch, and there's one down. Pretty nice crowd here in Toronto, but I don't think everyone's here quite yet. You do see empty seats scattered throughout the ballpark, but considering the upper deck has got people sitting in the upper reaches of the stadium, we should have a very nice crowd. Here's Chris Sabo stepping in. Stottlemyre's first pitch to him is a nice breaking ball in there for a called strike. Sabo has been playing the outfield lately, but returns back to his traditional position of third base tonight. Swing and a miss there. A big cut. And Sabo takes a look at his bat as if to say, is there a hole in this thing? 0-2 on the bespectacled Sabo, and Stottlemyre gets an outside pitch that Sabo has to reach for. He grounds lightly to short and will be tossed out for out number 2. Had this been on natural grass, Sabo might have been able to beat out an infield hit. It was hit that softly, but on this artificial turf, it rolled out the Cedeno in time for the shortstop to throw out Sabo. 2 down, nobody on, and here's Palmeiro. Raffy having another consistent great year, hitting .336, slugging .557. He's got 13 homers, 40 runs driven in. First pitch, big breaking ball, but on the outside for ball 1. You can bet Raffy will be in the All-Star game this year. Next pitch is foul back. A 1 ball and 1 strike to the left-handed slugging Palmeiro. Raffy takes a couple practice swings. Stottlemyre's next pitch is outside, not even close. On deck is Cal Ripken. Here comes the next offering to Raffy, and it's a swing and a miss. He was fooled badly on a breaking ball. He drops his bat to the ground and takes a step out of the box to regain his composure. 2 strikes on Raffy. He's hoping to see anything other than that pitch again. The 2-2 is inside. Good take there by Palmeiro to work the count full. Second full count of the inning. And the payoff pitch is coming. It's outside, but Raffy swings at it and misses. Stottlemyre gets Raffy to chase on a fastball off the outside corner. And that'll do it here in the top of the first. At the end of half an inning, it's the Orioles nothing and the Blue Jays coming up. Well, we're here back now for the bottom of the first, and on the mound is the Orioles ace of the staff. No question about it. Mike Mussina comes into this game with a 10-4 record in 16 starts, with the second best ERA in the league at 2.87. He's given up just 27 walks with 110 hits in 119 innings. So barely a batter per inning reaching. He's got a plethora of pitches with pinpoint accuracy, a four-seam fastball, the two-seamer. He throws a knuckle curve, and he's got a traditional curveball as well, and, of course, the straight changeup. Between mixing up his pitches, pretty good velocity on the fastball, and painting the corners, he's got a very Maddox-like approach to things. Very intellectual pitcher. Here's the first pitch to Devon White, and he swings at it, grounds it to second. McLemore picks it up, tosses the first in time to get the speedy White on one pitch. You'd like to see it. The Blue Jays batting order is White leading off. Roberto Alomar will now hit second and playing second as well. Paul Molitor is hitting third. He's the DH. Joe Carter in right hitting cleanup. John Olerud, the number 5 batter. You have Huff in left, Ed Sprague at third, and Pat Borders, the catcher, batting 8th. And Domingo Cedeno, the shortstop, batting 9th. Here's the first pitch to Alomar. That's Mike Huff in left. Not Aubrey. That's later. Next pitch from Mussina is in the dirt. To the switch-hitting, all-star, Gold Glove winning second baseman, Roberto Alomar. He's got that pronounced crouch stance where he leans over and makes the strike zone about the size of a paper plate. This one's a called strike, however. Couple of the better players in the game right here. A 2-1 pitch here to Alomar is on the outside corner. He gets the call. Alomar didn't like the call. Hoyles had to twist his glove a little. It wasn't exactly hitting the target, but Mussina gets the benefit of the call. Cito Gaston in the Blue Jay dugout not looking too happy with that last call. This one's fouled back by Alomar. And we'll do it again. The next pitch from the Moose is outside corner. Oh, Hoyles wanted that call. So did Mussina. That might have been more of a strike than the outside edge call he got a couple of pitches early. Either way, from the Sky Dome overhead bird's eye view shot, it did look a couple of inches off the plate. Here's the next pitch. In on the hands, and Alomar is able to foul it back. We've got quite the little battle going on here between two of the better major leaguers in the game today. Mussina with that cold stare, kicks and deals, and this is another hard fastball low in the zone, and Alomar is able to fight it away to stay alive. We do have a battle here. A one pitch out to get Devon White. Roberto Alomar here, not making it so easy. Mussina's next one is upstairs, and Alomar fights this one off. Will it stay in play? Hoyles is taking a look near the Blue Jay dugout, but it'll go about 6 or 7 rows back into the stands. Look at this magnificent ballpark of the future. You got hotels, you got restaurants, you got, what do you got? Isn't there like a putt-putt golf course somewhere? I don't know. It's no Camden Yards, though, I'll tell you that much. Either way, another full count pitch coming from Mussina to Alomar, and he swings and misses. Mussina gave him the heat, and Alomar couldn't connect. What a battle there, and Mussina wins it to retire the second batter of the inning. 2 down, nobody on, and that'll bring up another probably Hall of Famer and Paul Molitor. I mean, you look between these two teams, Ripken, Baines, Alomar, Molitor, Carter, Mussina, Olerud. A lot of stars. Molitor hitting .338 with 8 homers, 48 driven in. Mussina with a fastball that swung on. First pitch swinging is to center field. Drifting toward right center is Brady Anderson to make the catch. And the side is retired. So, Mussina retires the first and last batter of the inning on 1 pitch with about an 11 or 12 pitch at bat to Roberto Alomar, sandwiched in between. But he gets out of it 1-2-3. We go to the second, no score. Leading off for the Birds, the Orange Birds, that is Cal Ripken Jr. coming in hitting .296. And he'll look at a Stottlemyre fastball that's called a strike on the outside edge. Pretty wide strike zone, it would appear, from the umpire tonight. So working the count for a walk might not be the best approach. Here's another one off the plate, but this one's low as well, and Ripken gets the count even at 1-1. Ripken comes into this game tonight precisely 162 games. That is 1 Major League season shy of Lou Gehrig's consecutive games record. He flies out to the opposite field to Joe Carter for the second out of the inning. Let's go back to the studio for an update. Well, out in the Sky Dome, the White Sox win the game as De Leon strikes out the final batter to hold on to an 8-7 win. All right, back to the ball game, and here's Harold Baines taking high and away for ball 1. Baines comes in, hitting .294, slugging .500, 11 homers. So much pop in the middle of both of these lineups. Baines has had plenty of chances to look at Stottlemyre, and he's been very successful, hitting over .300 with 4 home runs lifetime off the Blue Jay pitcher. Here comes the next one. It's outside. Baines, unlike most hitters of the era, stays in the box and is waiting for that next pitch. This one's upstairs. And Stottlemyre falls behind. Or excuse me, that'll make the count full, 3-2. The payoff pitch is in there, but Baines is able to foul it away. That ball is right down Broadway. Baines had a late swing, though, and was only able to fight it off. Another 3-2 from Stottlemyre is up and away, but Baines again will foul it away. Bat Boy runs out to give the umpire a couple of handful of new baseballs. And Stottlemyre gets the sign. Another 3-2 offering, and it's right over the plate, but Baines pops it up. Shallow left field. Coming in and making the catch is Mike Huff for out number 2. So far, not a whole lot of activity on the bases. Stottlemyre earlier this week got into a bit of a tough tussle with Boston. Lost his cool. Threw a lot of equipment out onto the out onto the field. He's hit 7 batters this year, has Stottlemyre. Now he's got to face Chris Hoiles up here with 2 down and nobody on. Hoiles hitting just .224, but he's got 12 homers and 35 driven in. The stocky right-handed hitter takes a couple practice swings, and here comes the next pitch. This one swung on and hit well. It's going to back up White near the 400-foot sign, but about 10 feet shy of the track. He makes the catch, and the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the second. Zeros across the board. Middle of the order due up for the Blue Jays. It will be Joe Carter, John Olerud, and Mike Huff. Here's a side-by-side comparison of who are these guys? Paul Molitor and somebody. I should know, but I don't. All right, in steps Carter, the World Series hero from a year ago. First pitch to him is inside for ball 1. Carter hitting .284 with 16 homers and already 67 runs batted in. That's third in the league. And slugging a healthy .544. Other out-of-town scores include Oakland beating Detroit 10-5. The Angels getting past Texas 4-3. Milwaukee skates by Boston 5-4. The Yankees in a wild one, 12-11 over the Indians. The Twins 11-4. The Reds 12-4 over the Padres. The Dodgers 5-4 over the Astros. Giants 8-1 over the Rockies. The Cardinals 3-1 over the Cubs. The Marlins 6-1 over the Expos. And the Pirates with a 7-3 win over the Mets. Also the Phillies edged out the Braves 9-8. And if you're watching the World Cup, the USA lost to Romania by a 1-0 score. And that gets you all caught up with the out-of-town scores. Here's the next pitch to Carter. Upstairs with the fastball, he pops it up. Got under it somehow. Hoiles looking at it right at the dugout and makes the catch with maybe a foot to spare before the first step down the dugout. So frustrating out there for Carter. That ball was up in the zone, but he still got under it somehow. Popped it straight up behind the plate. That'll bring up the left-handed hitting John Olerud. One of the better contact hitters in all the game. Mussina's first pitch is a breaking ball, low and maybe a little bit outside. Olerud comes in hitting .277, but with an on-base of .374. He knows how to draw a walk. 5 homers, 37 RBI. Mussina's 1-0 is in there on the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hoiles puts a finger down. Looks like a breaking ball sign. Here comes the pitch. And it's actually upstairs and lined into right field, a base hit. The first base runner of the ball game is a single to right by John Olerud as the Blue Jays have a man on with 1 out. That'll bring up Mike Huff. You can see just how tall Olerud is, towering over Rafael Palmeiro, who is no tiny man himself. Ed Sprague chilling in the dugout with his equipment on. He doesn't appear to think he'll be hitting in this inning, even though he'll be due up in about 4 batters. Here's a first pitch to Huff, and it's in there for a called strike on the inside corner. Huff coming in with a nice average and starting to get regular playing time. He's hitting .311, a couple of homers, 9 driven in. Hits from the right side. Mussina. A check on Olerud, who doesn't run much. Pitch. Good fastball there. Belt high, and Huff was way behind. An absolute just explosion of a fastball there from Mussina. Huff takes a few practice swings. Mussina checks first. The pitch. upstairs, but Huff lines it into left field, and that ball is going to get down and go to the wall. Olerud rounding second and will glide into third easy, as the Blue Jays now have runners at second and third and only one out, as Huff laces a double on a ball that was probably above his belt and not even in the zone. That was that ball was nearly letter high. He went up there and got it. You cannot hit a fastball and square it up and pull it like that unless that's exactly what you're looking for. And Huff got it. So a good piece of hitting there by Huff. And the Blue Jays got something going here with only one out and two runners in scoring position. Here's Ed Sprague. All right. I might have said Sprague was sitting with the catching equipment. That, of course, would be Pat Borders in the dugout. So let's see what the veteran Mussina can do about this tough situation he finds himself in here. His next pitch is in there, a called strike at a flat 90 miles an hour. Ed Sprague has absolutely scuffled in these situations, hitting just 161 with runners in scoring position. Lifetime hitting just 223, but this year he's even worse. Mussina in the stretch. The pitch is another called strike, and it's strike three. And boy, what a terrible at-bat from Sprague. I mean, it might not have been the pitch he was looking for, but from when the ball left Mussina's hand all the way to the catcher's mitt, that was in the zone the whole way. Like, you got to at least offer at that and try to foul it off. Sprague just watched it go by. It was right on the inside black, but too close to take with two strikes, especially with one out and a runner at third. So now they're going to need a two-out hit, and instead it's grounded right back to Mussina on one pitch. Pat Borders grounds out on one pitch back to the pitcher, and Mussina does what Mussina does. Runners at second and third, only one away, and he gets out of it without giving up a run. We head to the third inning, still no score, as the sun starts to go down here in Toronto. Tonight's game brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. When you need auto parts, why not go with the advanced one? Also, Degree Deodorant. Are your pits smelly? Try Degree. First pitch swinging here from the Orioles, and it's hit well and deep, and looking back, it is off the top of the wall. No, that's gone. That's a home run for Dwight Smith. Dwight Smith coming up on the first pitch, just absolutely jumped on it, and the Orioles have taken a 1-0 lead with their first hit of the ballgame, their first base runner of the ball game. High fives all around. This was on the outer half, and Smith took it to the opposite field. That ball just kept carrying and carrying, and it actually hit the concrete facade of the first deck of bleachers above the blue wall out there. What a nice approach there by Smith. And that'll bring up Mark McLemore. He takes a big cut, but he missed. McLemore hitting .270, but with a healthy on-base percentage of .367, 2 home runs, 16 driven in. Switch hitting utility man, who plays mostly second, will take one low and in from Stottlemyre. McLemore steps out of the box, rubs some dirt in the gloves, gets it on the knob of the bat. He's ready to go. The next pitch is outside corner, called strike 3. McLemore doesn't like the call. He takes a slow turn. The umpire nods his head as if to say, yep, I got it right. You took called strike 3. To be fair, it was in the zone all the way until the final moment, and it definitely was too close to take. That's right on the edge. Either way, here's the number 9 man, Jeffrey Hammonds, coming up here. 1 down, 1 in. Hammonds hitting .291. He's slugging .500. And this ball's lined right back up the middle on the ground for a base hit. So that's the kind of lineup the Orioles are offering. One where your number 9 hitter is slugging .500. As Hammonds is aboard, and he's got speed to boot. This ball was hit right back up the middle between the legs of Stottlemyre somehow. Right through the 5-hole, as they say. So you've got a 1-run in. You got another one at first. And speed to boot as we turn the lineup over. Back to the top of the order and Brady Anderson. First pitch is a breaking ball in the dirt. Brady 0 for 1. Average down now to .330. Takes a long look down at the third base coach. Hammonds takes his steps off the bag at first. Now another step as he inches closer toward that dirt and AstroTurf seam. Brady fouls this one back. You got Davey Lopes over there. He knows a thing or two about base running. There to help people like Hammonds figure out when to go. Jeffrey takes the lead, and now he's got that opening foot right on the dirt path. And this one's grounded through the hole there on the right side. And Hammonds is going to motor from first to third. It's a base hit for Brady Anderson, and the Orioles have runners at the corners. Wow, there wasn't much space to get that ball between Olerud and Alomar on the right-hand side, but Brady found just the right trajectory and got that ball between not only the two defenders, but Hammonds as well, who had to make sure not to get hit by that ball on the way through. So good all around for the Orioles. Hard base running, solid contact hit there for Anderson, and now an RBI situation for Chris Sabo. 0 for 1 so far. Hammonds at third, Anderson at first. The pitch is swung on and grounded to second. It's too slow to turn 2, and they'll get Sabo at first for the out, but Hammonds comes in to score, and the Orioles have doubled the lead now. It's 2-0. So Sabo going after the first pitch. Didn't make great contact, but luckily for him, it was hit so softly that he was able to get the RBI ground out. And not only that, but be able to move the runner from first to second, which means Palmeiro will come up with Brady Anderson in scoring position now, and a chance for the Orioles to add to this lead with 2 down. First pitch from Stottlemyre, swing and a miss as Raffy takes another big cut at a breaking ball. I think Palmeiro would be very pleased to stop seeing curveballs from Todd Stottlemyre. There's Sabo in the dugout sitting next to fellow third baseman Leo Gomez. Next pitch is in the dirt. Another breaking ball, but Palmeiro lays off this time. He's had great success against Stottlemyre in his career, batting just under .400 with a few home runs. The pitch is low and maybe a little bit off the plate outside. Brady at second. 2 runs in already. The pitch is in the dirt. Stottlemyre rubs the baseball up. Kicks the dirt around the pitcher's mound. Picks up the rosin bag. Kyle Ripken on deck. Palmeiro ready for the next pitch. Here it comes. And another breaking ball, and Borders gets up to try to get Brady Anderson, who took off for third base. But it's ball 4, and Brady is on third base without so much as a throw. Brady took off as soon as Stottlemyre had turned his head. So now you have another runners at the corner situation. This time for Cal Ripken. 0 for 1 so far today. Again, Ripken, as of today, just 1 year exactly away from breaking Lou Gehrig's record. 162 games to go. He swings and misses. Had a Stottlemyre breaking ball. 0-1 on Cal. The next offering, another swing and a miss. That one almost looked like a changeup maybe. It didn't have as much break as his typical curve, but it was effective nonetheless. And here comes the next pitch. It's swung on and missed as Stottlemyre got Cal to chase on a ball way off the plate to end the inning. But the Orioles do some damage. A home run from Dwight Smith and an RBI single puts them ahead 2-0. As we head to the bottom of the third. Mussina now works with a 2-run lead as he faces the 9-1-2 hitters. First, it's the shortstop, Dominic Cedeno, who swings and misses at the first pitch. Mussina's 0-1 is over the plate, but a little low. 1 ball and 1 strike to the light-hitting Cedeno, coming in here batting just 173 with no homers, 3 RBI. This is why you see him batting 9th. The pitch is outside. Mussina probably not happy with that last pitch. This is a guy you got to put away quickly. Here comes the next one, and this one's over the plate, and it swung on and missed. There you go, Mike. Stick with the fastball. All will be well. The 2-2 to Cedeno. Swung on and fouled back. Got just a piece of that one to stay alive. Well, we do have a packed house here once again in Toronto. This place knows how to pack them in, don't they? Mussina's next offering to Cedeno is upstairs. And Chris Hoyles gives him the calm down sign, which Mussina probably doesn't really need, in all honesty. Let's see if he can put Cedeno away on this pitch. He gets him to chase a ball that might have been upstairs, and Cedeno fouls it off. A big 8 or 9 steps out of the batter's box for Cedeno to recollect himself. Taps the plate with his bat. A couple of practice swings. And here comes the next pitch from Mussina. It's another high fastball, but this time Cedeno lines it into right field, and it's not handled out there properly. It's gonna, will that be an error or a double? Either way, Cedeno is on second base as the ball comes back in. But Jeffrey Hammonds had some trouble out there in right. I don't know if he lost it in the lights or if the ball just sort of took a weird... I mean, that ball was right there, glove high. I mean, that should be an error. Hammonds was running to his right. So with his glove in his left hand, try to backhand it with the ball about, I don't know, pretty much right off the plate. First pitch swinging, by the way, and it appears to be a sacrifice as Mussina will get the runner at first, and Devon White as Cedeno now moves up to third. White laid down the bunt, but the Orioles were ready for it as Mussina was able to field it cleanly and get the speedy White. But it does put a runner at third now with only one out, and here comes Roberto Alomar. Not a bad guy to have up here in this situation. You just want to make contact. You want to get it out of the infield, and instead Alomar pops it up behind the plate. Hoyles takes a look, but it's back in the crowd. Two nothing Orioles. I'm going to try that again. 2-0 Orioles here in the bottom of the third. The pitch. Fastball hit in the air. Left field. This should get the run home. Backing up and making the catch out there is Smith. And Cedeno can walk home backwards. As the Blue Jays are on the board now, it's 2-1. A sacrifice fly, an RBI, as the Blue Jays play some small ball to get this 2-run deficit cut in half. Leadoff double, sacrifice bunt, although with Devon White, any bunt attempt is really bunting for a base hit. But either way, he got the job done, moved the runner to third, and then Alomar with the fly ball to get Cedeno in. 2-1 now. And here's Paul Molitor. First pitch swinging, grounded to third. Sabo on a bounce, throws to first with plenty of time to win the inning. But the Blue Jays do answer back after the Orioles score 2 runs in the top half of the third. The Blue Jays respond with one of their own. At the end of 3, Baltimore 2, Toronto 1. Leading off here in the top of the fourth is Harold Baines, and he takes a called strike on the inside corner. 2-1 Orioles. Stottlemyre's next pitch is outside, 1-1. Be sure to tune in this Wednesday night for a late game out in the West Coast between the Giants and the Dodgers. Matt Williams and Mike Piazza, a couple of stars you'll see. Baines fouls one back. He's 0 for 1 today. His average sits currently at .293. The next pitch from Stottlemyre and another foul back by Baines. This portion of the broadcast is brought to you by Red Lobster. Red Lobster, for the seafood lover in you. The next pitch from Stottlemyre swung on and missed as Baines whiffed on a breaking ball in the dirt. Clearly Baines was looking for something harder. Did not see that curveball coming. And his swing was well underway. Too late to do anything about it. Whoa. No good. Here's Chris Hoyles. 0 for 1. And he takes a pitch, maybe a little high, maybe a little bit inside. Not to the umpire's liking either way. A ball and no strikes to the Oriole catcher. And the next offering from Stottlemyre is a nice breaking ball. Started about eye level to Hoyles and wound up in the bottom part of the zone. 1-1, the count. There's a shot of Baines looking off in the dugout as if to say, boy, that last at bat really didn't go my way. Here's a breaking ball for a called strike on the outside corner. Again, a seemingly generous call on these corners tonight by the umpire. If it's near a corner, you better go ahead and give it a shot, especially if you got 2 strikes on you. The next pitch, again, Stottlemyre looking outside, but this ball dips into the dirt, and Hoyles is able to refrain from chasing. And the at-bat will continue. There's a shot of White out in center field with his arms folded. Alomar with his hands resting on his knees. Stottlemyre. The pitch to Hoyles. Fastball swung on and hit in the air to left field. Hit pretty well. Looking back on the warning track. A leap, and he makes the catch, does Huff. Hoyles backed Huff all the way up to the wall out there and left. And it has to be said, Huff may not have needed to jump for that ball. Meanwhile, the umpire is coming out to talk to Stottlemyre for reasons yet unknown. Hoyles looks back as if to say perhaps there was interference on the catcher. Maybe he felt his bat head touch the glove. But had it done so, it certainly didn't take too much power off his swing. Either way, he doesn't get the call. And here's a first pitch breaking ball for a called strike to Dwight Smith. Smith got the scoring started in this one with a solo home run. He really does crowd that plate. This one's inside. But it looked more inside than it probably really was because, again, Smith is almost leaning into the strike zone with his batting stance. The next pitch is over the plate, but breaks down into the dirt. See what the ball strike count is here on Smith. I've lost count myself. 2-1 is the count with the 1 away. The pitch fouled back, and now the count even at 2-2. Here it comes, and Smith is able to lay off that breaking ball. The count will go full now, 3-2. Let's see if the runner will be in motion. How many outs are there? Boy, to be a old school Major League Baseball announcer, you really had to have a good memory. If there weren't stats right in front of your face all the time. The count is full. There's a runner at first and 1 out. The pitch. Swing and a miss, and the runner took off. They try to get him at second, but the umpire says safe. So a stolen base for Chris Hoyles. And that was a bang-bang play at second. Perhaps helped out by a big swing from Baines that sort of made it difficult for Borders to get the ball thrown off quickly. Cedeno tried to smack the tag down, and boy, I tell you, it looked a lot closer than maybe the umpire thought. Let's take a look from this angle. Or let's just stop it right there and not look. Either way, here's Mark McLemore, who tries to check a swing, but he went too far for strike 1. McLemore at 269 after going 0 for 1 so far tonight. The next pitch is just off the plate outside, maybe a little bit low. 1-1 on McLemore. Hoyles at second. 2 down. The Orioles lead 2-1. The pitch is inside, but a called strike. McLemore struggling this season with runners in scoring position, hitting just .222 after hitting over .300 in the same situation the previous 2 seasons. It's just one of those things. The pitch is a breaking ball swung on a miss and a beauty by Stottlemyre to end the inning. McLemore flips the bat, throws off the helmet in frustration as the Orioles come away empty-handed here in the top of the 4th. We go to the bottom half. Orioles lead the Blue Jays 2-1. It'll be the middle of the order due up for the Blue Jays here in the bottom half of the 4th, with Joe Carter to lead it off, followed by John Olerud and Mike Huff, as the sky is now given way to complete darkness. The deepest blue. The sun has definitely set here in Ontario. Mussina is ready to work. Carter stepping in, and the first pitch is over the plate for a called strike. Hoyle set up on the outside corner. That ball wound up pretty much middle, and luckily for Mussina, Carter took. The 0-1 is on the outside corner and hit high in the air by Carter, but it's just going to be a fly ball to left field. It was a big swing from Joe, but he tried to pull a ball that was too far outside and can only just hit it higher than he can far. Smith made the catch and left to retire him. There's one away, and here's Olerud. Olerud's got his average up to .280 now after the single in his last at-bat. Here's a breaking ball swung on in line, base hit left field. Second hit of the day for the Blue Jay first baseman. Another solid single. As we look at some highlights from that wild game in Cleveland between the Yankees and Indians. Here's that home run from Luis Polonia, of all people, to help the Yankees edge out Cleveland 12-11. No such score here yet. At least you'd have to add 10 runs apiece to each side. It's 2-1 here. And the next pitch to Mike Huff, who steps in, is in the dirt for ball 1. Huff doubled in his last at-bat. Absolutely smoked a high fastball from Mussina down the left field corner to give the Blue Jays a golden opportunity to score, but it went astray after Ed Spray came up to strike out, and then Pat Borders couldn't get it done with 2 down. This one's fouled back. Huff getting the signs from third base. Waves the bat a couple of times. Waves it once more. Mussina now gets the sign. He's in the stretch. Comes to set, and the pitch. What a breaking ball that is. A beauty, and Huff can only whiff. A giant whiff on a beautiful breaking ball by Mussina. He's suddenly broken that pitch out here in this inning to great effectiveness. We didn't really see it the first time through the order. 1 down, runner at first. The tying run, that is. And the pitch is a breaking ball grounded on the third. To second for 1. To first. 2. A double play. They go around the horn. Sabo to McLemore to Palmeiro. And the Orioles get out of the inning with their 2-1 lead intact. We head on to the 5th. And that'll bring up Jeffrey Hammonds to lead things off for the Orioles. Hammond scored his last time up. He had singled, went first to third on another base hit, and then came in on an RBI ground out from Chris Sabo. Again, here's your number 9 hitter who's slugging now over 500 and hitting .297. Stottlemyre out there, and his breaking ball is over the plate but low for ball 1. The next pitch to Hammonds is on the outside corner. Jeffrey reached for it and fouled it back, and the count is 1-1. Through 4 innings, it's 3 hits and a walk for Stottlemyre, but he's also given up a home run ball and some pretty hard hit balls. The next pitch to Hammonds is fouled back. Hottest ticket in town here in Toronto. Another gorgeous turnout here for the Blue Jays. Hammonds takes a breaking ball off the plate, and the count is 2-2. If it's 3-2, don't kill me. Here's the pitch. Swing, and he chops it down the left field line, but it goes foul. Picked up by the third base coach, who inspects the ball and chucks it away. Hammonds resets. The next pitch is swung on and hit to the ground to short. Fielded cleanly by Cedeno, and he throws out Hammonds in time. As we turn the lineup over to Brady Anderson. So we'll see how Stottlemyre can handle this Oriole lineup the third time through. This is normally where things start to fall apart. Brady with 1 hit and 2 trips to the plate, a single in his last at-bat. The pitch is grounded foul off to the right and down into the corner. Brady looks to step back into the box, then steps away from it, now back in again. And the 0-1 pitch is just off the plate, outside, 1-1. The pitch. He takes one that lands about 2 inches in front of the plate and bounces away. A lot of movement on that Stottlemyre curveball, but not a whole lot of effective targeting. This one's upstairs, and now Brady's got 2 balls to go with the strike. The pitch is popped up, and Brady wants to slam his bat but realizes better of it. It's going to just get out of play as it bounces off the Blue Jay dugout roof. Just a couple of feet out of reach of the catcher, Pat Borders. Borders goes to collect his helmet and mask, get himself situated. Brady on the replay just praying for that ball to get out of play. And his prayers were indeed answered. He's still alive in this at-bat. And Stottlemyre's next delivery is swung on. This one's hit well in the air to right. Oh, Brady got that one. Going back and looking up is Carter. This ball is gone. How about that? Brady Anderson narrowly missing a foul pop-out to the dugout of the Blue Jays. And on the very next pitch, completely squares up Stottlemyre. And that ball just just absolutely jumped off his bat like a rubber ball. Look at this. Oh! Just scoops it. A scoop shot by Anderson. That ball was middle of the plate. The Orioles now lead 3-1. Here is the pitch to Chris Sabo, and it's a called strike. So again, the Orioles flexing their power muscles. Next pitch is upstairs, 1-1. 3-1 Baltimore here in the top of the fifth, as Brady goes to get a drink. And the 1-1 to Sabo's line and caught on the base of the turf there by Roberto Alomar. A line drive about an inch off the ground, and Alomar was able to glove it for the line out. Here comes Rafael Palmeiro. Palmeiro 0 for 1, but he did draw a walk in his last at bat. Takes one in the dirt for ball one. He's looked rather uncomfortable up there every time Stottlemyre throws him a curveball, and it appears the third time around that Rafi has no interest in swinging at a curveball, at least until there's 2 strikes on him. He gets one, though, and he does swing and is able to foul it off. To be fair, that one appeared to have the zone. Not much of a battle of the minds here. I think both Stottlemyre and Palmeiro are each aware that it's either going to be an enticing breaking ball or a fastball off the plate. Stottlemyre's not going to give Palmeiro a fastball he can hit unless it's a mistake. The pitch just on the inside corner. Beautiful location there from the Toronto pitcher to get a second strike on Palmeiro. The 2-2 is swung on and popped up. Left field side, drifting over on the foul line now toward the stands, and making the catch is Huff up against the stands. So another ball that was right on the border of being in or out of play. It stays in play for Toronto, and that makes the third out. We go to the bottom of the fifth. The Orioles add one more on the home run by Brady Anderson. They now lead the Blue Jays 3-1 as Ed Sprague leads it off for Toronto. He looks at a breaking ball from Mussina for a called strike. The Moose just sailing along here. He gave up the 1 run, and a lot of it was due to Toronto playing small ball by bunting a runner to third and driving him in on a ground out. Here's a swing and a miss as Mussina blows Sprague away. He got him looking with runners at second and third in his first at-bat, and now he gets him swinging, leading off here in the bottom of the fifth. Just an absolute doozy of a curveball that Sprague just gave up on. And then the fastball that absolutely blew him away. Swung on, and boy, there goes the bat. Wow. My goodness, look out over there. Pat Borders lost control of the bat, and it lands right there in the first row. Luckily, it looks like no one's hurt, as a older couple sitting there corrals the lumber. But my goodness, if that's not an indication of the sort of stuff Mussina is showing here as the game goes on, I don't know what is. Another look at the couple who narrowly escaped a blunt force object smacking them in the face. Right. 0-1 on Borders. I got a feeling Mussina is going to blow him away after that first pitch. Here comes the next. Over the plate, but low, 1-1. Borders is 0 for 1, hitting .254 at the moment, with a big old wad of chewing tobacco on his right cheek. The 1-1 is a check swing. He didn't go. 2-1. That ball was outside. The always composed Mussina gets the sign. The kick, the delivery is a bit inside. Here comes the next pitch to Borders, and it's outside for ball 4. So, a bit of a surprise walk there from Mussina. He made Borders look absolutely silly, both in his first at-bat and then starting off this one. And yet he loses the command and lets Borders on with a free pass. That'll bring up Domingo Cedeno, who's been the catalyst for the only offense of the night for the Blue Jays, as he doubled in his first at-bat. He takes this one just off the plate outside. Excuse me, he singled in his first at-bat. That raised his average to a $1.89. One and 0 on the number 9 man for the Blue Jays with a runner on. The pitch, he looks to bunt. Instead, he takes it, and it's low, 2-0. Again, despite a couple of teams with some pretty good offensive punch, we're seeing some small ball here, and you can attribute that to having an ace like Mike Mussina on the mound. You want to squeak those runs out wherever you can get them. Here's a called strike on the outside corner. Mussina keeps the eye on the runner at first, the pitch, and this one's fouled away. A late swing there by Cedeno. Tonight's game brought to you by Corbel. Corbel, for people who know champagne. I don't know champagne, so I guess I'm SOL. All right, here we go. Mussina comes back and misses the outer corner. Is that going to run the count full now? Borders on first after drawing a walk, and Cedeno now. He's already got a hit off Mussina tonight. Now faces a payoff pitch. And here it is. Swung on and missed, and Borders was running, and they're going to get him out at second easily. Strike him out, throw him out for the Orioles, as Toronto tries to stay out of the double play by sending the runner and instead run themselves out of it with a double play with a strike him out, throw him out. We'll head to the 6th. The Orioles maintain a 3-1 lead. Johnny Oates, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Cal to lead things off. He stares at a called strike. A nice breaking ball from Stottlemyre. 0-1 on Ripken. Next pitch is a check swing foul, and Cal in the hole 0-2. Cal 0 for 2 so far tonight. Johnny Oates taking a little look at his lineup card. The 0-2 to Cal is outside. That looks like the pitch Cal struck out on in the previous at-bat. This time the veteran shortstop knows to lay off. And here comes the next pitch. It is off the outside corner. Cal again laying off to even up the count at 2-2. A typical Kyle Ripken season, as he's been playing now for over a decade. 294. Sorry, never mind. We got a fly ball to right field. It's a can of corn for Joe Carter. He makes the catch. So Ripken late on the swing, flies out to the opposite field, and there's one down. Here in the top of the 6th. That'll bring up Harold Baines, who's 0 for 2. He takes a called strike on the outside corner, and Baines is not happy. It doesn't do well for your head when you step into the plate in the very first pitch. You feel like you've been bamboozled. Next pitch to Baines is in there, a called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Baines, his body language screams frustration. His average Major League season, 288, 19 homers, and 85 RBI. Not too shabby, considering how long he's been in this game. This one's outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the veteran DH. And the next one is upstairs, but Baines takes it on. Unfortunately, it's going to be a shallow fly ball to right. Carter makes the catch. Flips it back into the infield, and there are 2 down. Top of the 6th here at Skydome. The Orioles lead this one 3-1. 2 out, nobody on. And the batter will be Chris Hoyles, who's 0 for 1. He also had a fielder's choice. This one's hit on the ground to short. Cedeno has to run to his left field, throws, and gets Hoyles easily. Cedeno doing it all in one motion, and it looked very fluid, but in all honesty, he could have just set his feet and thrown a more traditional throw to first base with Hoyles' speed. But either way, Hoyles is retired. And now we head to the bottom of the 6th. And the top of the order here for Toronto, Devon White, whose first pitch swinging fouls it back up into the stands. There's a shot of the future Hall of Famer Paul Molitor in the dugout. Pretty much exclusively a DH these days, but still getting the job done and then some. White is 0 for 1, and they did count his bunt attempt as a sacrifice in his last at-bat, which led to the Blue Jays' only run thus far. This one swung on and hit in the air to center, but right in the tracks of Brady Anderson, who makes the catch one way. Again, breaking down the swing of Paul Molitor, who now steps into the on-deck circle as Roberto Alomar is due up now. He's 0 for 1 with a sac fly. Driving in the only Blue Jay run thus far. The pitch from Mussina is just a bit low, apparently. 1 ball and no strikes to the switch-hitting second baseman, Roberto Alomar. Mussina's next offering is low, 2-0. These two had a pretty memorable first encounter in the first inning as well, as it took about 10 pitches to retire Alomar, but he did via a strikeout. Here's Mussina's next pitch. There's a called strike on the outside corner, and Roberto does a bit of a double take. It has definitely been a wide strike zone from this umpire tonight. The pitch is swung on and jam shot. It's cued right to the shortstop, Cal Ripken, who makes the catch. That ball is probably hit off the barrel, the handle more than the barrel. So Alomar retired, and here's the future Hall of Famer, Paul Molitor. There's a break in the action here. Now we're set to go. First pitch from Mussina is a fastball that Molitor swings and hits to the opposite field. It's a can of corn for Hammonds, who makes the catch in his tracks to win the inning. Another one pitch out by Mussina. He's got a lot of those tonight. That helps him get deep into the ball game. We're through 6 full and heading toward the late innings. The Orioles are ahead here 3-1 as we start the 7th. Baltimore trying to get out of here with the series win. And leading it off is Dwight Smith. Smith started the scoring in tonight's game with a home run back in the 3rd, leading off. First pitch he saw. Retired in his next at-bat. And now takes a breaking ball in there for a called strike. Sprague puts down the signs. Borders puts down the signs, and Stottlemyre misses upstairs with a fastball. Smith never even offering at it. It was too high. The pitch. This time he wants to take, but it's a called strike, and Smith can't believe it. Smith did a move as if to say, oh, my God, that ball's about to hit me in the head. Next thing you know, it's a called strike, and it wasn't even a breaking ball. That is a breaking ball, and what a pitch by Stottlemyre that got Smith twisted all up into a pretzel. And you have to think that previous fastball combined with that breaking ball there pretty much did Smith in. Here's a shot of that fan who saw that Pat Borders bat fly into the stands near him. He's been given an actual bat as a souvenir. Not a game bat, but he's got one to show off. Put in his put over the fireplace or something. And apparently he's got his right elbow wrapped, so it did smack him in the elbow apparently. So that's how you avoid a lawsuit, people, at the ball yard. Yeah. Say, forget the lawyer. Here's a bat. Can we call it a deal? Good. Anyway, Mark McLemore at the plate, and he swings and grounds the ball to second on a hop. It's an easy play there for Alomar, and one second baseman grounds out to the other. So McLemore retired, and here comes the number 9 man, Jeffrey Hammonds, for his 3rd plate appearance. It's been a good night so far for the young Hammonds. 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored, hitting .295 at the moment. First pitch swung on and fouled back. We'll see how much Stottlemyre has in the tank. His pitch count is starting to get up there, but remember, folks, this is 1994. Pitch count was a thing, but it wasn't gospel quite yet. If you were getting the job done, it didn't really matter. This one's in the dirt. And the next pitch to Hammonds is taken for a called strike on the lower inside corner. Hammonds didn't like the call, but join the club, Jeffrey. I don't think a single player at the plate tonight has been happy with the strike zone. But to be fair to the umpire, it's been working both ways. The 1-2 to Hammonds is outside corner. It's a swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and Hammonds turns around as if to say, I never had a chance in that at bat. He put a strike on me on the previous pitch, and then I was forced to swing at that thing, although to be honest with you, that could have been a called strike 3 had he took. It was a beautiful breaking ball from Stottlemyre. Anyway, that ends the inning. We go to the 7th inning stretch here at Skydome. And the Orioles maintain a 3-1 lead. Mike Mussina is sure to come out for his 7th inning of work. And he'll face the middle of the Blue Jay order with Carter, Olerud, and Huff due up. The pitch. Fastball swung and drilled to left, but right at Donnie Smith, who has to make a catch with his glove almost on the turf. That was one of those tough balls to gauge as an outfielder. I was hit right at him, and it took a bit of a dip on him as well. So Smith sort of stuck in his tracks. Thinks he's got a ball he's catching about belt high, and next thing you know, he's on the ground, catching it about 2 inches from the turf. Either way, the Orioles are able to make the out there and retire the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 7th. Here's John Olerud. Olerud, the only player to understand how to hit Mike Mussina. He's got a couple of hits tonight. This time he swings and grounds at the second. This will be an easy play. McLemore to first, and there are 2 down. So Mussina, I mean, this is the middle of the order. You're talking Joe Carter, John Olerud, and 7th inning of a baseball game, and Mussina is making it look easy. He looks more unhittable now than he has the entire game, and he's never really looked all that hittable. 2 down, nobody on. And here's Mike Huff. He probably squared up the most hard-hit ball of the night off Mussina back in the 2nd inning with a double. Unfortunately, the Blue Jays couldn't capitalize. Now he squares up to bunt and pulls it back. Interesting idea, considering that there's 2 out, nobody on, and you're down 2 runs. There appears to be somebody loosening up in the pen, not throwing yet, but doing some warm-up exercises. So we'll see whether or not Stottlemyre comes out to start the 8th. Toronto mired in this 7-game losing streak where they've scored a grand total of just 7 runs. Here's a swing and a foul off to the left. So it's been an absolute spiral of a week with an absolutely dormant offense for these Blue Jays. And if there's one thing that doesn't help a team scuffling at the plate, it's facing an opponent's ace on the mound, and that's what they've found here tonight in Mike Mussina. This one's just off the plate outside. There's a shot of the Blue Jay general manager and the Blue Jay dugout littered with sunflower seeds, Gatorade cups, and spit. The pitch is a breaking ball that hangs upstairs, and the count is 2-2 on Mike Huff. Here's a look at what the Blue Jay lineup looked like last year in their World Series season, and there's a swing and a miss by Huff. A strong inning there from Mussina. Retires the side in order and caps it off with a strikeout. We are through 7 full. And the Orioles still lead 3-1. We go to the 8th. Leading off is Brady Anderson here, top of the order. Brady hit a home run in his last at-bat. He's 2 for 3 tonight. He also has a single thrown in, which actually helped set up another run, a Chris Sabo ground out. The pitch is over the plate, but a little high. A ball and a strike to the left-handed hitting Anderson. Stottlemyre still out there. The pitch, a little bit inside. Here's a summary of the series. On Friday, the Orioles took the first game 5-1, with Mark Eichhorn getting the win out of the pen. And then on Saturday, the Orioles with a 4-1 win. Once again, Eichhorn getting credit for the win. So this would be a sweep if the Orioles can hang on here and widen the gap. The Blue Jays, with their 7-game losing streak, now sit dead last in runs per game. This one's hit well to right field. And again, Anderson is making a bid, and this ball is gone. Brady Anderson has taken flight for the second time tonight. His second solo shot to straightaway right field, and the Orioles add another to make it a 4-1 ball game. And this Blue Jay crowd starting to feel a little bit unhappy. I mean, they're coming off back-to-back World Series champs. What do you want to do? They got the most innovative stadium in the league. They've got star players. Attendance is great. 2 championships to hang your hat on in the past 2 years. So, yeah, they're not having a great season. They're in last place. They can't score runs. And opponents are having their way with them. So 2 home runs for Anderson as Stottlemyre remains out there for some reason. Again, if you're talking about 21st century baseball, Todd Stottlemyre would have been yanked, if not before now, certainly after that home run. But he remains out there to face Chris Sabo. I don't even know if the Blue Jays have anybody in the pen ready. 2 home runs for Brady tonight. And Sabo hits this one in the air. This one's going to take White back, but plenty of room to dead center, and he'll make the catch just a couple of feet in front of the track for out number 1. Here's a shot of that restaurant area in center field where you two can sit and have a bottled water and maybe a plate of nachos for only $40 or $45. And it's still the 90s. Here's Palmeiro. First pitch swinging, popped up. This will be an easy play for Carter. He calls White off and makes the catch for out number 2. 2 down here in the top of the 8th. The Orioles ahead now 4-1 as Brady Anderson has hit his second home run of the night here off Todd Stottlemyre. And with the bases empty, up steps Cal Ripken Jr. The pitch. Swung on and tapped back to the mound. Stottlemyre with an easy play. And that'll do it for the Orioles. But Baltimore tack on another run, courtesy of a Brady Anderson homer, his second of the evening. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Orioles now lead 4-1. And for the Blue Jays, they've got their bottom of the order due up. And I'm going to assume Mike Mussina is still out there. I mean, if Stottlemyre's pitching 8 innings, why wouldn't Mussina? Here we go. First pitch right in there, but fouled back. Ed Sprague has not had a good night at the plate. He came up there with runners at second and third, and his first at-bat struck out. Looking. Came up a second time, struck out. Swinging. And pitch. This one is put into play. And it's going to back Brady Anderson up near the track. He makes the catch. So that ball was squared up pretty well and hit pretty far, but to the wrong part of the ballpark. As Mussina gets the first out of the 8th. That'll bring up Pat Borders. The pitch. Check swing, and this is grounded to third. My goodness. Sabo up with it, over to Palmeiro, and there are 2 down. And what a wasted at-bat that was. That's what Mussina does to you. You think you're just checking your swing, or maybe if you do, you foul it off. Instead, you put it in play on the first pitch, and back to the dugout you go. Killing any chances of a rally, it would seem, here for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 8th. There's 2 down and nobody on now. And in steps Cedeno. Cedeno, 1 for 2 with that single and run scored in his first at-bat. The pitch is swung on and missed. So if Mussina is to retire Cedeno here, he'll head to the ninth inning just having faced 3 batters over the minimum with the top of the order due up. This is the last batter, the 3rd time through the order, with 2 out here in the 8th. So another outstanding outing here by the Orioles ace. The pitch is over the plate, but just a little low. To Domingo Cedeno. Here comes the next offering, and that one's in there. As Cedeno looks to flip his bat and take a walk. Instead, it's a called strike. Now, it's been a wide strike zone from this umpire, but that ball appeared to be legitimately right on the inside corner. The next offering is fouled back, and Mussina gets himself back to a full count now on Domingo Cedeno. With 2 out and nobody on here in the bottom of the 8th. 4-1 Orioles. Mussina kicks and deals, and it's a called strike 3. A beautiful breaking ball, and Cedeno once again had flipped his bat as if he were taking a walk. Instead, welcome to the big leagues, kid. There aren't many people who can do anything with a pitch like that, and there aren't too many pitchers with a full count willing to throw a pitch like that. What a beauty that is. So we head to the 9th, and Stottlemyre finally hits the showers. Here, coming in to hopefully wrap things up is Todd Castillo. Castillo, a lefty, being brought in here to face this lefty heavy hitting lineup. And I believe it's Harold Baines set to lead things off, right? Is that right? Or is it Palmero? I think it's Baines. Didn't Ripken make the last out? I don't know. These are questions I should be asking myself in my own head. Who do we have up here? It looks like, well, first pitch swinging, and it's trapped out there, it would appear. Let's see what the call is. That is a base hit. So fly ball to Huff that dipped quickly, and Huff wanted to, and who is that? Who is that hitting? Who is that? Somebody came in to pinch hit. It's Jack Voigt. So, I'm sorry, that's Lonnie Smith, who came in to hit for the lefty Baines. So Lonnie Smith reaches on a pinch hit single, and now the Orioles have something cooking, trying to add to this 4-1 lead here in the 9th. Here's Hoyles as Castillo comes in there with a pitch up and away for ball 1. Hoyles steps out of the box, takes his time, adjusts his gloves, gets a sign from the third base coach. A whole lot of stuff happening that you just won't see in the modern game, as we're well past the pitch clock. Here's the next offering, and it's a breaking ball that Hoyles takes a big cut at, but he missed. Speaking of the bullpen, the Orioles have some action going themselves in the form of Lee Smith, the veteran closer. Smith will probably come on if this game stays 4-1. However, if the Orioles can tack on any more, perhaps Mussina can go the distance. The pitch swung on and popped up on the infield, right on first base, near the line in foul ground. Olerud makes the catch, and there's one away. And here comes another pinch hitter now. Stepping in to replace Dwight Smith is Jack Voigt. Smith gets a couple of handshakes, takes his helmet off, and realizes his day is over. He helped the team out again, opening the scoring with that solo home run, leading off the top of the 3rd. And then, of course, Brady Anderson went deep back in the 5th inning. And then did it again in the 8th. So 3 home runs today to account for the 4 Oriole runs. The 4th one coming in on an RBI groundout. But now looking for more. Here's Hoyles, and he takes a called strike. Excuse me, Voit. The pinch hitter Voit at the plate. Jack Voit hitting .246, 3 homers, 20 driven in. Not much of a power guy here. The pitch is swung on and hit the other way, but it's slicing foul. It'll take a bounce, and a nice catch there by a fellow in the first row leaning over. Grab that ball. And it would appear Voit broke his bat. Goes back to the dugout for another stick. The bat boy presents one. Voit says no thanks and grabs one for himself. Heads to the on-deck circle to rub up a little tar and trots back into the box. The Orioles looking for the sweep here on Sunday Night Baseball, winning the first 2 games of the series, and now with a 3-run lead here in the 9th. They've got a runner on and looking to get out of Canada here with a sweep over their division rivals. Here's a pitch well off the plate outside. Castillo, the lefty, comes in here with an ERA in about just over 2. This one's fouled off the leg of Voit, and now he'll take a break out of the box to wait for the sting to go away. Things have slowed down considerably here in the 9th inning. All right, Voigt's ready to go. Castillo in the stretch. And a check on the runner at first, and Smith is back in easily. That being Dwight Smith, not Lonnie Smith. Or is it the other way around? Too many Smiths. Yeah, I take it back. That's Lonnie Smith. Dwight Smith is being pinch hit for right now. Lonnie Smith, who also pinch hit, is on first. It's easy. Another check on the runner, and Smith is back in standing. Castillo might want to focus a little more on the hitter here. And here it comes. Swung on and fouled back. So a long at bat here by Voit. And another pause in the action. Voit stepping several feet out of the box. I completely did a 180 on my thoughts about modern pitch clock baseball. I think it has been great for the game. Swung on and drilled by Voit. This ball is going to go over the head of the left fielder. It's barehanded fielded by Huff, but the runner will not be thrown out at second. It's a double that allows Smith to go to third. So a pinch hit double for Voit. And that's 2 Oriole pinch hits here in the 9th. Runners at second and third and only 1 out. That ball was smoked. It was a nice barehanded fielding job off the wall there by Huff, and a quick throw, pretty accurate throw back in a second, but hustling all the way for the double was Voit. And now Mark McLemore hitting from the right side of the plate takes one up and away for ball one. 2 runners in scoring position, and the infield has been brought in. McLemore with a high percentage chance to get an RBI or 2 here. Let's see. This one's low and in. Lee Smith has stopped warming up. He's still on his feet, just sort of watching the game and seeing what kind of situation might occur. Again, if the Orioles tack on any more runs here, it won't be a safe situation. The pitch. This one's up and away, but McLemore took a stab at it and fouls it off behind the plate. Mussina has his jacket on over his pitching arm, which would indicate that he is ready to go another inning if Johnny Oates decides to use him. Sitting there quietly next to the Oriole franchise man, Cal Ripken Jr. Why not put him out there? He's looked fantastic. This one's over the plate but low, and McLemore takes as Tony Castillo, coming in to replace Stottlemyre, hasn't exactly been sharp as he walks McLemore. That's going to load the bases. And Cito Gaston folds his arms. Might be second-guessing going with Castillo here in the 9th, as it hasn't exactly been an upgrade over Stottlemyre to this point. Bases loaded. And there's a conference out there on the mound between Borders and Castillo. Another Blue Jay arm is up, with the bullpen catcher standing next to him. It appears they're going to wait and see how things go with this next at-bat. A crucial at-bat here. Can the Blue Jays keep this within somewhat striking distance, down 3? Or will the Orioles blow it open? And in yet another conference as Borders meets Castillo halfway between the mound and the plate to maybe go over the signs. It's Jeffrey Hammonds at the plate here with the bags juiced. Look at that technology with that tube television showing you the bullpen next to you there in the dugout. First pitch, and it's a called strike, and maybe a generous one. Hammond's not happy. That one was low and in. Whether or not it caught the corner, we need some modern technology to know for sure. Either way, 0-1 on Hammonds. Big at-bat here. Blue Jays want to get a double play ball. Orioles want to bust it open. The pitch, this one's low, 1-1. And Hammonds would be well served to be patient here. Maybe just keep his eyes on one part of the zone and attack. Otherwise, lay off. Because so far, Castillo has struggled with his command. And the next pitch is a breaking ball that's chopped foul off to the left. And Hammonds looks down as if to say, should I have taken that one? Either way, you've got Smith at third, Voigt at second, and McLemore at first. And now the pitching coach is coming out for a talk. This is the 3rd or 4th conference in about the past 2 batters, as Galen Cisco has a few words and a few more words. He's probably saying something to the effect of, you got a pitch that can hit a ball on the ground? Because that's what we need. I don't think you're striking anybody out tonight, so we need a ground ball. By the way, don't miss tonight at midnight the World Cup 94 game between Switzerland and Colombia. Tomorrow we'll have Germany versus South Korea and Bolivia versus Spain on ESPN2. Be sure to tune in for this nearly 30-year-old World Cup finale. The pitch is up and in. Hammonds takes. And Castillo is struggling after that mound visit. He comes back with a pitch off the plate. Ed Sprague, Pat Borders. I won't get these two mixed up anymore. I'm sure of it. Adjusts his mask. Hammonds looking intently at a 2-2 pitch. Swung on and grounded to third. They go home for one, but it's off the batter. Or it's off the runner, and Smith will score. Everybody's safe, and here comes another run. And here comes a third run as the Blue Jays have absolutely screwed the pooch. I can't believe what I just saw. 3 runs have scored on a ball in the infield. Absolute chaos here at Skydome. What in the world happened? It was a soft ground ball to third. Sprague came home with it, but nailed Smith in the helmet with it. The ball caromed away, allowing Voit to come around from second and score, but the Blue Jays took so long to get the ball back and under control that McLemore came all the way around from first. So it should be an RBI ground out for Hammonds with at least 1 error on this play, maybe 2. Certainly an error there. And then a throw that misses the catcher. Yeah, there's at least 2 errors on this play. What an absolute ridiculous turn of events here at Skydome. Yeah, you've got to have 2 errors on that play. Even the third run, McLemore, the ball came in and Borders dropped the ball. I mean, everything went wrong for Toronto there. That was embarrassing. And I would not blame Blue Jay fans for taking an early exit because it's 7-1 now. After 3 runs scored on a play where no one should have scored. Here's Anderson popping it up on the infield, and that is the second out of the inning. My goodness. I still can't believe that play. Just a comedy of errors. The sort of thing you're used to seeing in Little League. Seldom see in professional baseball and should never really see in the majors. Here's a breaking ball for a strike to Sabo. Orioles 7, Blue Jays 1 here in the 9th, and this one is looking like it's in the bag for Baltimore. The next pitch is upstairs, and Sabo has to lean away. The ball gets away from Borders, allowing the runner to go to third in Hammonds. And again, this has just been an absolute nightmare inning for the Blue Jays defense. Again, here's another look at that play that allowed 3 runs to score. Absolute madness. The next pitch to Sabo, breaking ball popped up left field, coming in and making the catch is Huff to end the inning. But the Orioles have seemingly put this one out of reach, and it's thanks to the Toronto Blue Jays. A 3-run scoring play that involved 2 errors gives the Orioles now a 7-1 lead, and wouldn't you know it, Mussina's out there to pitch the 9th. He's on 87 pitches, and there's number 88 swung on and missed by Devon White. Through 8 innings, it's been 3 times through the order for Mussina. He now starts a 4th time through, and look at that breaking ball. That should have been strike 2. That ball moved so well and with such skill and surprise that I don't think the umpire could believe it. This one's over the plate but low. That would have been a nice makeup call. Instead, it's 2-1 on Devon White. Here's the next pitch. This one's foul back, count even up at 2-2. Well, when you're a team mired in a 7-game losing streak and you find yourself in the basement of the American League East, you really can't hit bottom a lot more than this Blue Jay team did in the last half of this inning. This one sprayed hard to right field. A base hit past the diving glove of Palmeiro. So it's a leadoff single for White as the Blue Jays look to do something very, very difficult. Make up a 6-run deficit in the final inning. Looks like Alec Mills, the righty, is getting loose out there in the Oriole bullpen. So the leadoff man is on, and White. Here's Roberto Alomar. 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly, driving in the lone run of the game thus far for the Blue Jays. Mussina works back in the stretch. The pitch is outside. Mussina's still under 100 pitches, but he's getting there pretty soon. If he allows another base runner, that might be the end of the day for him. This one's upstairs. Johnny Oates doesn't seem too nervous as he smacks his gum. And the next offering from the Moose is swung on and grounded to second. Are they going to try to turn two? They get the force at second, but that's all they'll get, as Devon White and his speed was right there on a bang-bang play to get the force out. Alomar will take White's place at first, but there's one down now here in the ninth. Up steps Paul Molitor with a quiet night so far. His average after going 0 for 3 has dropped to .334. So by my math, he's due. One out here in the bottom of the ninth. The Blue Jays down by 6. The pitch is a fastball that tails on the inside. Must have been the two-seamer from Mussina, but it misses the zone. Molitor's just 2 for 14 lifetime off the Moose without driving in a run. The next pitch is swung on and grounded foul off to the left. Molitor out in front of that one. Mussina now just a pitch or two away from the century mark. But I'm sure Oates will allow him to go over it if he can get these next couple of outs. It's a ground ball to third. We might have it in right here. Sabo to McLemore to first. 2, a double play, and the ball game is over. And Mike Mussina has pitched another gem. The Orioles win this one 7-1. 7 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error for Baltimore. 1 run on 5 hits, and 3 costly errors by the Blue Jays. And the Orioles have swept here north of the border and gain a half game on the Yankees as they remain second place in the division, while the Blue Jays fall farther back and sit currently in the basement of the American League East. The Mike Mussina gets the win, which improves his record to what? I'll tell you here in a sec. 10-4, 11-4. Well, Todd Stottlemyre with the loss drops to 5-5. That's going to do it.